Hello, everybody on Cantonese Cats. Hey everyone, Cantonese Cat here. I'm just gonna go through the price action for two of the smaller miners, both of which are a little bit around 500, $600 million market cap, which is actually quite tiny. This is IREN, REN, ticker symbol. This is the monthly chart of that. You really see a little bit more of like a cup and this maybe a smaller cup slash handle kind of thing going on here. This generally is a little bit more like accumulation pattern. You can see the volume of this stock has kind of gone exponentially, which basically tells you there's a lot more interest that has been happening. And if you also look at Fintel.io, you can see that both of these miners that I have are starting to show a lot of institutional interest. There's been a lot more institutional buying of both of these to get exposed to potential Bitcoin bull market here. Now, because of this accumulation pattern, because it looks like there's a little bit of a neckline right here that's trying to break for a very long time, it did have a lot of volume over here, and currently price spent last month as well as the beginning of this month right around this big volume shove right in here, which basically means that it would probably end up breaking above or below, and once it does, it might end up starting a relatively more powerful trend here. If you pull up some of the other indicators, you look at the Bollinger Band, you can see that the Bollinger Band for IREN is actually expanding up and down a little bit. The 20-month moving average has been kind of crawling up here and has been serving as support over here 2 months ago. So this is a pretty decent bullish development here. Price spent the last 6 months about on the upper part of the Bollinger Band. Again, everything is kind of telling you that, hey, this is potentially a pretty powerful bull trend being built up here. It just needs the element of time for the Bollinger Band to expand for us to kind of break above these kind of volume shelves that are up here to go higher. There's no guarantee it can also go down, but the very fact that the 20-month moving average is now crawling up is really more of a positive sign that this is a bull trend that has turned from a bear trend, and the inflection point here was the last couple of months. Now, the Bollinger Band is promising. The Ichimoku cloud, not as much. It did try to turn the Tenkan line here, the red line here, from resistance to support. It keeps on getting really close to doing that. And earlier in the week, it does look like it was really very, very, very bullish. It was like right here. And it increases the chance of it potentially significantly for it to break above the Tenkan and potentially flip as support. But maybe it's just not quite ready to do just that. Although it's trying. I like the fact it's trying. Trying is good. But that's going to be the monthly. If you look at the weekly kind of tells you a very similar story. Weekly, it does look a little bit more bullish because it was oscillating around the Ichimoku cloud here, but it did seem like it bounced from the bottom of the cloud and bounced back above, and it's trying to challenge these weekly lines here, the Tenkan and the Kijun, but unfortunately it served as a resistance so far this week and bounced back below. We'll see whether or not price will have to kind of bounce back up before bounce back down below, pushing through all of this. There's always a possibility for a little bit of slight correction of like 20-30% before going up higher. That's just the nature of these Bitcoin miners. They're extremely volatile. But if you look at the weekly moving averages, something that's very, very positive has turned out to be, which is 20 above 50 above 100, and price claimed 20 and used that as support, and now it did use 20 to bounce back above, and the 20-week moving average is very, very strongly pointing up. So because of a very, very nice bull trend that has just developed not long ago, 20 above 50 above 100, I think we might be at the start of a very powerful bull trend that could be to come. But if we're at the beginning, it can mean that we're still going to end up maybe potentially having a lot more volatility, up and down, whipping sideways. Majority of it up, some of them down, but it can feel pretty brutal before going up a lot further. But this is a very, very nice bull trend here that you're seeing. Now, this is IREN. You want to look at WULF and TeraWulf. This is another one. I have some position in both of these. They're not big positions, but they're not small. I have some position in both of these. Very similar look. It does have a little bit of a cup and maybe a little bit of like a smaller cup over here. If you look at a monthly, I'm just going to go back and pull in monthly here. first of all, it's been around longer, so I actually have some fund flow oscillator, and fund flow oscillator flashed a buy signal last month, telling you that there's an increase in inflow and decrease in outflow overall, and it has gotten to the point that this can actually be flashed up as a buy signal, right? If you look at price, it's got a little bit of like a symmetrical wedge over here. It's kind of hard to see which way it's going to go, but it looks like inflow is increasing, which is promising. It also looks like volume is increasing. Buying volume actually looks like it's increasing over time. So all of this are promising. But the other indicator that we look at, just like before I really look at the Bollinger Band, Bollinger Band has crawled up, served as support. Bollinger Band is expanding here a little bit, potentially allowing price to go up a little bit higher. It looks like we're at the beginning of a bull market over here, just like we are over with IREN. Now, in terms of the Ichimoku cloud, it's just not going to be that great because of how far the Tenkan is from the Kijin. You're not going to have any major cross anytime soon, but the good thing is it looks like price is above the Tenkan, isn't it? The bad thing is Tenkan is pointing down, so it may not serve as very good support, but a good thing is price is above Tenkan, which is always going to be a little bit more promising to me. We'll see how the month goes. We'll see how next couple of months go, but there are some potentially bullish development that are happening over here. If you look at the weekly, it's above cloud. It back tested the cloud, and also at the same time back tested the weekly Tenkan over here, and it held. So there are some back testing, there's some oscillating around, there's some back testing here. But overall, if I have to tell you in terms of the weekly trend, it has turned bullish, and this just turned bullish not long ago. You're really talking about February before you start really having this turning of a more bullish trend. You're talking about March before this bull trend really starts to materialize, because the 20-week didn't really didn't really cross the 50-week until you're really talking about like March 18th. They're both pointing up. There's a nice separation between 20 and 50. Price could potentially come back down to like the low twos to back test this before going up higher. But overall, this is still a very, very nice bullish trend being developed right now. Buying volume up, selling volume down, buying volume up, selling volume down, buying volume up. So far, selling volume, it's only been 2 days. But right now, you already have a little bit of like a potential reversal candle over here on the daily. I don't look at daily a lot, but it's interesting to look at nevertheless. Now, again, why does it look like there's a little bit of potential reversal is because you're actually already at pretty decent support over here with the Ichimoku cloud. And if you actually look at the volume shelf, you're actually already bounced off of this pretty big volume shelf over here. It got over this big giant volume shelf down below, and it's looking like it might be ready to challenge some of the bigger volume shelf above. That looks thinner, so it's not going to be as much of a resistance as it was down here. I think the bulk of the hard work has already been done, and now there's still a little bit of hard work to be done up here to work through these resistance before going up. But because the weekly bull trend is intact, I think price is probably going to end up going a lot higher. We just need the element of time to be on our side. Anyway, thank you for listening to this video. I know these miners are not going to be as much interest for you, but I do like the way they look. I do own, a couple of these. I just want to share with you my thoughts. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.